Anthony, I got to talk about my favorite city that's not Las Vegas today.
New
York, no. New, we'll figure it
I'm
out.
Anthony. Welcome to No Vacancy Live. That's my friend Glenn.
You're watching the #1 show in hospitality.
Everybody, welcome to No Vacancy, not live today. That's Anthony Melchiori. I'm Glenn Hausman. Thanks so much for watching. Sorry we can't be live with you today, but I'm in Orlando hosting a golf tournament. How are you, Anthony?
And I am somewhere. Good. Yeah. It looks like I just woke up. I promise you I didn't. I think I may have some kind of stigma or sty or something in my eye. I've been rubbing it, and it looks like
you're already suffering from some sort of stigma from working with me. So
No, that stigma was diagnosed, vaccinated for. I had surgery for, and they say now that I'm numb to it, I'll be fine.
Yeah. All right. I love it. I'm glad that you have figured this all out. So, Anthony, we talk so often to so many people that are building, buying, developing, and operating hotels. But I feel like we're not talking enough to the people that are in the cities where the hotels are. And I mean those destination marketing companies, the ones that really promote those cities. And today we're going to talk about New Orleans today. How cool is that?
I love New Orleans. I've done a couple of shows there. I know it a little bit. Great hospitality. And
you did an infamous show there.
The people that run, what's that?
You did an infamous show there.
Yes, I did. I think we should have got an Emmy and Oscar and everything else for that show. But
that rag, by the way, I understand is in the Smithsonian.
It is. And somebody was charged 27 cents to put it in the Smithsonian. But people that are really trying to attract conventions and attract people to their city have a hard job. They have a hard job, even if you have a beautiful city and all the history. It's not an easy job. I have a lot of friends that run those companies, and it's challenging.
Yeah. Well, let's bring on Mr. Walt Leger. He's president and CEO at New Orleans and Company. Walt, great to see you today. Welcome.
Thank you. It's spectacular to be with you this morning. Thank you for having me.
That is the first time anyone ever said spectacular to be with me in the history of mankind.
Well, let's see if we
I guess we'll see how it goes, right?
Exactly. So, Walt, congratulations. It's really exciting to see that you're there now. It's a relatively new position. So, tell us a little bit about what made you want to come on, Anthony. Anthony, your mic's all messed up. Tell us about what made you want to come down to New Orleans and make something happen over there.
Yeah, well, thank you. I've been in this president and CEO role just since January 1st of 2023 with the company for about almost 4 years now. And I'm born and raised in the New Orleans area.
Oh, cool.
I've lived here all my life. And so it's a particularly special honor to be able to be in this position and promote and sell my hometown. Obviously, we all have a connection to home. Our team is also made up of a lot of people who called New Orleans home for many, many, many years. And the opportunity to impact our city in a way that is really meaningful is something that I just couldn't pass up when given the opportunity. We feel really passionately about the concept that if you can create the type of city that's a wonderful place to live in, then it's going to be an incredible place for people to visit. And nothing could be more true than in a city like New Orleans. And so being able to work in this industry, bring people to our city to come together for meaningful interactions, whether that's leisure or professional, it's something that the people of our city really enjoy doing, opening our arms and welcoming people in. And when that brings value to your community as well, it's a very special opportunity, and we've really been enjoying that opportunity to enhance the quality of life for the people who live here and give people a little bit of a taste of what New Orleans is.
So before you were in this position, why don't we go back a little bit and say, what was your last couple of positions, and then how'd you come to take?
Yeah, so
let me add, did it feel like you were cheating when you were representing other cities?
Yeah, well, no. So my background's really unique in this space. I feel like in some ways I've been advocating for this city my whole life, but just in really different ways.
Right.
So I'm a lawyer by training. When I first got out of law school, I graduated from Tulane 20 years ago.
Oh, cool.
I practiced law for about 16 years before I came over here. My first few years were as an assistant district attorney. So I represented the people of the city in prosecuting violent offenders. I then got elected to the Louisiana legislature where I represented District 91 here in New Orleans there for 12 years.
Wow.
8 years as the Speaker Pro Tem of the House of Representatives. So I actually represented the city and many of the assets that make up the industry. So the convention center, the Port of New Orleans, and many of the restaurants and other establishments that are important to the hospitality industry were in my district.
Holy cow.
And so term limited in 2020, you can only serve 3 4-year terms, and was recruited to come join this company as the first general counsel and ultimately elevated to this role. So I've been advocating for this city in different ways for a long time. And this has been a new challenge.
Wow. Walt, I don't know if I've ever heard of anyone more prepared for a particular position than you are. You have so much in-depth understanding of the nuances of what's going on in your city that nobody could compare to what you're going to be able to deliver, I think.
Well, I appreciate that. I mean, there are so many of the things that are impacting the travel industry these days: public safety, political decisions made by legislatures, and then organizations trying to make their travel decisions based on communities that they align with from a values perspective. We're really walking through a challenging time in this industry across the country in some of those ways. And it does feel like our team's equipped to deal with that.
With your background, you understand how to make constituents understand the challenges and also the gains you've made in your position. Hotels and restaurants, the number one thing that they always ask is, what are you doing for me? I know what you're doing for the city. I see that you're pulling in the conventions, but what are you doing for my hotel? I'm paying these fees. I'm paying these dues. I need a plan for me. And that any convention, any place you go, it would be New York, anywhere, that's the number one question from hoteliers, because hoteliers are notoriously frugal.
Well, and numbers driven, right? I mean, how many people are staying in my hotel tonight, and how many are going to be here next week and the week after that? So, at the end of the day, all of those things about community building are important, but the most important priority for our team is selling. I mean, we are actively out there booking conventions and conferences and meetings. About half of the business we book goes into our convention center. About half of the business we book goes directly in-house at the hotels across our community. And so, to your point, some of our most important partners are those hotel partners. Their sales team and our sales team work hand in hand to strategize about what meetings are the best fits for our community, what time of year they fit in the best, and what size fits in the best to be able to create the compression that they need to be able to yield revenue and be successful. But I mean, as you said, they're being pushed every day on the numbers, and so is our team. And at this point, the pace of our booking is exceeding the 3-year average before COVID. And so we feel that our aggressive sales pitch is resonating and paying off for our members and for the people in our community.
Walt, if you're going to answer questions perfectly, please go on another show. You're going to screw up the standard of our show.
I know, seriously, Walt. So I think you're really on to something, and you guys are creating a very holistic partnership between you and the hoteliers that are out there. So you've got to have this vision for the city, right? And obviously, let's start with the events themselves, the ones that are utilizing that convention center and the hotels, and then we could go like beyond that. But how are you thinking about bringing more business to there? Even though you're running ahead, is a lot of competition out there, most notably Orlando and Vegas, that seem these days to be scooping up so much of that convention business.
Yeah, no question. And those two cities in particular, they're major competitors of ours, but they're also massive in size. Hundreds, over 100,000 hotel rooms. We have 26,000. Massive event space. We are the 8th largest convention center, but those two animals are so much more significant in size than we are that it is difficult to compete with them. One of the things we're working hard to do, though, is our city gets described as authentic a lot.
Love it.
And I think, yes, it's authentic, but we also think that it's actually unique. There are a lot of cities that are authentic. Orlando is authentically Orlando, and Las Vegas is authentically Las Vegas. We are a unique city that has history and culture that I think is incomparable. We're known for celebrations and parties like Mardi Gras and Bourbon Street. One of our focuses is not getting away from that narrative, but creating a new narrative, one that paints a more holistic approach to what our city is and a broader picture of what our city is. Because oftentimes when you're talking to corporate meeting planners and associations, they want to know that people are going to show up for the meeting, right? And there is a perception that, and maybe even a reality sometimes, that people might be a little hungover in the morning if they've been out in New Orleans the night before.
Hey, listen, Walt, I don't need to interrupt you there, but I think this is important to know. Every single city, the conference goer the next morning is hungover.
Great point.
It's the truth, because a lot of people that go out to conferences, they're either road pros like we are, and you see that group that's out till 2, 3, 4 a.m., 20, 30 years into their career, or you see the people that only get out once or twice a year, and they don't know that they need to have a little bit of discipline. So
go ahead.
Right. So I would say, Walt, if you're hitting that wall, you explain to them that this is a problem in every city.
Absolutely.
But what's most important is the authenticity of your city, and the things that you could do around the city is much, much better than being anywhere else. But I'm not with your job. What's that?
Your city has soul.
Yeah. Well, I just love your city so much. It's really, it's my favorite American city outside where I live here in New York, because it's authentic. It's real. There's culture there that's so definitive, and everything that I feel that you have is so well defined. Sorry. I'll stop praising your city.
Hey, look, go on and on. I could listen to that all day, and I thank you for it. And it certainly gives us an advantage in what you've described earlier as a deeply competitive marketplace, right? And so I tell people often, I'd rather sell New Orleans than any place else.
Yeah.
But even with its unique and authentic nature, there are other cities who want this business. Right. And so our team being aggressive, our team creating the right incentive for people to book, our team building those personal relationships over long periods of time, ensuring that our convention center, which is undergoing about a $550 million upgrade and renovation right now. Sometimes people think, well, why do we need to do that? The convention center is fine as it is. Well, we've got to keep up. It's an arms race out there. Everyone's making these investments. We've got to do the same. We're doing a $450 million renovation of the Superdome right now in preparation for the Super Bowl in 2025. We're proud of these assets in our city. Our Superdome, for example, it's turning 50 years old next year.
No way.
Which will make it a historic building. And there are cities that have torn down 2 stadiums in that time and built new stadiums for billions of dollars. We've got a facility that's iconic and that continues to compete, and that's something that's a source of pride for us, because in our community, with the history, we feel like preservation and progress can go hand in hand. And the Super Bowl being a symbol of how you preserve the past and celebrate it, but also move into the future with upgrades and with new technology and with reinvestment is something that I think is a cornerstone of our community and something that we're all really proud of.
What's your biggest challenge? What keeps you up at night?
So a lot of the things that organizations like ours have to deal with are things that we have responsibility for, but not ultimately the authority to address. And so if public safety is a challenge, that's not something that I have the authority to be able to address, but I do have the responsibility to convince people that they should be here anyway, right? And that they are in fact secure and safe when they come to have their meeting in our city. Homelessness is a challenge right now in every city in America. We have a very small population of homeless, but we also have a very small geographic footprint. And so it gets a little more pronounced. So we're having the same sorts of challenges that cities around the country are having, and yet limited ability to be able to impact those things. So for our team, that can be difficult. It can be frustrating. Keeping people focused on being excellent, executing our mission and our job, and knowing that if we do it, that we're going to get the results that we want to have in the long term, those things, that keeps me up, because it's a job that requires a deep commitment and a lot of passion, and it's 24/7. And I'm proud of our team for continuing to battle through it. But yeah, I think organizations like ours struggle with that responsibility, but not authority.
How is the development of hotels in your city right now? What's the pipeline look like?
So it's been exciting. We opened a Four Seasons right in the midst of COVID. We opened a new Virgin Hotel in the midst of COVID. Both of those facilities are thriving. We've had a number of hotels coming online that are boutique in nature and really unique and special. There's the Chloe on St. Charles Avenue, which is a 16-room hotel, beautiful, in an old St. Charles Avenue mansion. There's the St. Peter and the Hotel St. Vincent. It's on Magazine Street. It was an old convent that's been converted into a really magnificent
that's pretty cool.
Hotel. And there's the Peter and Paul, which is in the Marigny, just outside of the French Quarter, also an old church facility and convent facility. So a lot of discussion going around about the development of a headquarters hotel at the convention center. There's a 40-acre tract of land right next to our convention center along the Mississippi River that's being developed right now into the newest neighborhood in New Orleans. It's called the River District. We believe there'll be some hotel development in there, as well as some housing, entertainment venues, and recently announced that Shell is placing their a brand new headquarter location in that River District. So a real anchor tenant in there, an expansion of the corporate area of the city as well.
Yeah, it sounds like you're going to be having a lot of conversations with Omni over the next couple of years for sure.
We have been. We continue to have conversations with them. They're busy everywhere, and there's a lot of interest in New Orleans because we don't have a true headquarter hotel at our convention center, and that's the kind of the one thing not present. Everybody, I think, sees that as a huge opportunity and a winning opportunity. And I'm excited to see how that unrolls over the next several months and years.
You mentioned the River District. Unfortunately, I haven't been to your hometown in a while. Is that where that mall was? And there's that whole area over there?
So there's the Riverwalk Mall that is along the riverfront. This is actually a little bit more upriver.
Okay.
There was and there's been vacant lots there for a long time. So
that's crazy.
The convention center controlled it. At one point, it was a lot of warehouses and things associated with the port and maritime activity, but it's been vacant and utilized. We've had festivals and other things over there, but now it's been packaged for development. Master developer was selected, and Top Golf is breaking ground in there in the next few weeks.
Oh, wow.
And all of the public infrastructure is being laid right now for the grid. So that's going to be really exciting. It'll be a whole new area of the city for people to be able to enjoy when they visit us.
And what's the restaurant scene looking like? What is the investment in that part of the community?
It's booming. I mean, a city of our size to have the 1,500 restaurants that we have is really, I guess, predictable given the connection to food that we have.
Yeah.
But the emerging trend continues to be that while our unique brand of Creole and Cajun food is still important, you see a lot more international flavor coming in, and then sort of marrying it up with local flavor. So whether it's new Vietnamese places that have Cajun and Creole inspiration, whether it's classics like Emeril Lagasse reopening his classic and original flagship Emerils with his son EJ.
Oh, fun.
Whether it's Dakar Nola, which is a Singalese restaurant run by a guy who came to town to work at Commander's Palace and then ultimately is now reconnecting with his heritage. There's just a lot of fascinating things happening there. And we're excited that next year we're going to be hosting the Bocuse d'Or competition, which is an international cooking competition, with master chefs and pastry chefs based in Lyon, France. It's going to be in North America. It's going to be in the United States, the North American Championship for the first time.
Wow.
And we think it's natural that they're going to be here in New Orleans with us. And that's
when is that going to be?
A chance to elevate.
When will that be? When will that be held?
June of 2024.
All right, just I'm checking my calendar.
Yeah, you should be here.
Now.
I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And what it's going to do is it'll allow us to elevate the culinary scene a little bit in the international space. I mean, so many places have amazing food now. We, I think, are celebrated for food, but this gives us a chance to talk about some of the new developments, and they're pretty exciting and varied.
Right.
Yeah, I heard you had a pretty good music scene too.
Not too bad. Not too
bad. When I was doing one of the shows, there was a picture in the lobby of the second line. And I didn't know what second line was, and I didn't know it was created in New Orleans. And I had some fun with it. So just tell us about the history of music and what's going on in the music scene in New Orleans, which is,
Yeah, so music is everywhere in our city, and it's central to who we are. We're known as the birthplace of jazz, Louis Armstrong and Jelly Roll Morton and so many other greats. I think what sometimes gets missed is that inspired and has led to a number of different genres of music. And so you can get anything here in New Orleans, and we're certainly, bounce music and hip hop and rap are all really important to the music scene here. And of course, jazz continues to be important. But yeah, the second line's a really special thing that centers around the celebration of life following a death in the community, where the first line is led by the family and the casket, and the second line is musicians and the remainder of the family and friends who join together to really celebrate that life as opposed to mourn it. And it's something that's come to be a special part of a lot of events in our city.
Yeah, it's something that's really very uplifting in a time that can be very sad and depressing. That's one of the cool things about your city is no matter what seems to happen that's negative, the bounce back of positivity is always there. One of the positive things I like to do in your city, Walt, is when I go up and down Bourbon Street, I like to go and get oysters, then maybe go hear some bluegrass music. Then there's this one place I always go to get fried gator and go to hear Zydeco music, which I absolutely love. So it's really just so much there. Most cities have one thing that they're known for. You have so many, and I think that really helps when you're building those special events and meetings out. Of course, you're on the circuit for the Super Bowl, as you mentioned, is coming back in 2025. But one of the things I love that I've never been to is New Orleans Jazz Fest and that kind of focus. So tell us a little bit about how you're going to be seeing Jazz Fest coming this year and other types of festivals that might be emerging from your brain trust there and from the community.
Yeah, so I was going to mention, Jazz Fest is a classic, and it's in the spring every year. Incredible event, hundreds of thousands of visitors, and something that just you really don't want to miss. It's hosted at our fairgrounds. It's a huge outdoor festival with incredible music of all different genres, and tents set up around the facility to be able to enjoy gospel or modern jazz or more classic jazz. Also, big acts like Ed Sheeran and others are generally a part of it, and other locals like Big Frida and Big Sam Funky Nation. Can't miss it. I also want to tell you, this year for the first time, we launched something that we called Music Month in New Orleans. And October was Music Month. It was simply a way of really celebrating music and what it means to our community. We started it off with an event that we helped to found 2 years ago. This was the third iteration of it. We call it NOLA by NOLA. It is a 10-day festival in 40 different music venues around the community every day, where you can get live music performances. Cool. And so it really celebrates live music and the venues in which that live music occurs. We started it during COVID. In fact, because we were going to bring Jazz Fest back in October of 2021, and yet there was a spike with a variant. We had to cancel and postpone it. And we thought, what are we going to do for these musicians and these venues that benefit so much from that activity? So we created this new festival, NOLA by NOLA, that's really taken off, celebrated those venues, celebrated music. We capped it off with a new event called Music Con, which was a music business conference.
Oh, cool.
Bringing together, bringing our artists an opportunity to plug in to those music opportunities those music business opportunities that haven't always been available to them. So
Walt, that sounds like
really
South by Southwest 20 years ago before it completely became a monster.
Certainly we've looked to others for inspiration there, and we're really excited to see where this goes. October in New Orleans is one of the most fantastic months from a weather standpoint.
Yeah.
Very dry, cooler weather. And we felt like there was a place to really highlight music in the music scene. And so that's going to just continue to expand our ability to celebrate it.
I've been there in June before, so I know October's better.
Yeah. June's great too. There's never a bad time.
Never a bad time.
October's pleasant.
Hey, listen, I'll eat a beignet any day down there. Yeah. And
so you know what? I wish that you were qualified for your position. I tell you, you know everything about your city, and it's not something that you can read in the book or your team can tell you about. It's something that you live, you eat, you breathe, you were born into, and it comes through. And you're just an incredible advocate for your city, and I just can't wait to get back there.
We can't wait to have you, and thank you for those comments. I mean, this is truly home. It's much more than a job; it's a mission, and our team embraces that as well. So I think continue to be honored to be able to do this work and give people just a little bit of taste of what it really means to be a part of New Orleans. I know that I feel like people don't visit New Orleans to see something; they visit New Orleans to live like a New Orleanian and experience that lifestyle. And our people embrace that, love opening their arms to people who visit. And I love that about our people. Just very,
Orlando created to be cool, and Vegas created to be cool. You were born cool. Your city was born cool from the second. You invented cool. You were cool before cool was cool, and it's as authentic as a city can ever be.
Well, yeah, the people of New Orleans are really cool. I may not be the coolest guy around, but I do have the coolest job around. So I embrace that, and certainly like bringing the coolness to the world at large and telling them about what they can get when they come here. And it's a real source of pride for us. So thank you.
Well, thank you. And let me make a plea to everybody out there in the industry. We love going to Las Vegas, but we're going 7, 8, 9 times a year for an event. Throw us a bone. Talk to Walt.
Yeah, bring an event down. Event to New Orleans.
Get an event down in New Orleans every once in a while. Walt, how can we learn more about maybe hosting events, doing things in New Orleans?
Yeah, neworleans.com is the best. Our team has done an incredible job of curating that. And of course, we're only a phone call away too. And for you guys, we can't wait till you come down and visit us. But neworleans.com is the most comprehensive place to get the info you need.
And I'm a marketing guy and I'm a branding guy, and I love NOLA by NOLA. Simple, man. It's just that's what it is.
It really felt like a for us and by us kind of thing. We needed to get people into those venues, and that worked. And the people that have been producing it have done an excellent job. It's been awesome for the musicians, and it's been fantastic for those venues. I do want to make one more pitch, and I hope you'll check this out. Mm-hmm. We just created a musician artist database on our website at neworleans.com. Mm-hmm. We're going to give every musician in the city a microsite on neworleans.com where you can connect with them. No, however big or however small, they're all going to be there. We want to celebrate them for what they do, the creativity they have, and help them book gigs and do everything else. So it's a really cool site. We've been working on it for a long time. Our team has been passionate about it, and now our whole community is being able to take advantage of the reach that website has, and we're very excited to grow it.
So before we go, I know we only have a minute, but real quick, we know about the music, we know about the food, we know about the great venues, we know about the history and the coolness. What's something most people don't know about New Orleans?
I think people misjudge the outdoor recreational opportunities that we have. They think of us just as a city, but we're 30 minutes away from world-class fishing and hunting opportunities along the coast, whether, redfish and speckled trout. I mean, then you can bring them back to classic restaurants and they'll cook them up for you. And then we've got this incredible place in the middle of the city, City Park. It is one of the largest urban parks in America, twice as big as Central Park. Ooh. And in it you have 900-year-old oak trees. Wow. You've got golf courses, You've got the Louisiana Children's Museum, the New Orleans Museum of Art, an amusement park, and a Cafe du Monde where you can get your beignets. So, and that's not to mention the sculpture garden, which is also world class and set among oak trees and Spanish moss and the incredible things that our city has to offer. So I think people just don't know about those things, and they're totally different than the experience you get downtown and in the French Quarter and the hospitality zone, but they're only 15 or 20 minutes away, and a streetcar will get you there from Canal Street downtown. So
those streetcars are fun. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. So I know we're supposed to let you go, but two things. Walt, I got a box of Cafe du Monde beignets downstairs in my pantry over there, waiting for my kids to get home for Thanksgiving, and we're gonna make those up. Number two, we didn't even give a plug for your almost brand new airport that was rebuilt.
Yeah, well, right. The new airport that we opened also like 2019, right as we were getting into this COVID thing. So a lot of people haven't seen it, but
totally.
It's been recognized as the best airport in North America of its size for several years in a row, and incredibly beautiful, functioning at a high level, and truly welcoming to the people that visit. Our old airport needed some love, and it felt a little bit like a cave at times. This is a very spacious, well-lit, beautiful, welcoming environment, and we're really, really proud of it. It's continuing to serve us really well.
Yeah, awesome. Walt Leger, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it. Do us a favor, hang out backstage for just one.
Absolutely, Glenn, Anthony. Thank you. Enjoyed it.
Thank you. Man, that was a whole lot of fun for sure. And if you guys are having so much fun with that, I know one way to have fun. Why not listen to this over and over again? Download us on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts, or Stitcher, and all of those kind of places. Also, if you're listening to us right now, thanks for choosing to do your workout with us or your commute with us. Want to take a look at us? Watch us on LinkedIn and our respective pages on Facebook, at LinkedIn, at YouTube, and of course at novacancynews.com. Remember, everybody, you're wonderful. We'll see you next week, and we got one life, so blaze on.
And be kind to yourself.
See you later.